from LP Savani Riverside School, Krupali Home. Hello students. In the earlier session, we will learn about all these reaction of the metals and some of the non-metals with the sulfuric acid and hydrochloric acid, and we will observe the increase or decrease of the temperature and if there is produce the hydrogen gas or not. Today we are going to learn about the reaction with the bases. How metals or non-metals react with the bases. Let's see by one activity. Prepare a fresh solution of sodium hydroxide in a test tube by dissolving 3 to 4 pellets of it in 5 ml of water. Drop a piece of aluminum foil into it. Bring a burning matchstick near the mouth of the test tube. Observe carefully. Reaction with bases in this activity, what we have to do here is, first of all we need to take one test tube and add 5 ml of water inside that test tube, and then after from the bottle of sodium hydroxide we have to take 3 to 4 pellets. It will be in the pellets form inside the bottle. And then after dissolve it means you made the base solution. Why base? Because sodium hydroxide is the base. In the 5 ml water you are dissolving it, that's why you prepared the base solution. What you have to learn here is reaction with bases of the metals. As a metal you are going to take aluminum foil, so what you have to do as a next step is take a aluminum foil and put it into the basic solution of sodium hydroxide, and then after observe what happens is bases and metal reaction will gives you any output or not. Just observe it. Bring a burning matchstick near the mouth of the test tube and observe carefully. And bring a burning matchstick near the test tube mouth, and if there is producing a pop sound, it will says you that there is a production of the hydrogen gas, and if there is not any pop sound is appear, then you can say not any hydrogen gas is produced during the reaction. What that the pop sound indicates? It means here hydrogen gas is the produced. As before, the pop sound indicates the presence of hydrogen gas. Exactly like that, in this case also pop sound indicates the presence of hydrogen gas. Metals react with sodium hydroxide to produce the hydrogen gas. Here what will be formed? Sodium hydroxide means NaOH will reacts with the aluminium. That's why the hydrogen will produced as a product. Reaction of non-metal with the bases are complex. Here reaction with bases of metals and non-metals. Metals produce hydrogen gas with the reaction of base, and with in the case of non-metal we are not going to discuss it right now here because it is very complex reaction. You will learn it in the higher standard. Here is one more term, displacement reaction. First of all, let's try out to understand this word. Displacement means, place means खुद की जगह, displacement means उससे हट जाना. Displacement reaction here is also occurring like that only to change their own place. Recall the activity of reaction between copper sulfate and iron that you perform in class 7. Let's observe some more reaction of that kind. How can we understand the displacement reaction? Let's see. Take 500 ml beaker and label them as A, B, C and T. Take about 50 ml of water in each beaker. Dissolve in each beaker a teaspoonful of each substance as indicated in 4.6 figure. Here is we have the figure number 4.6. What we have to do here is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We took a 5 beaker, and in each beaker we took 50 ml of water, means in the A, B, C and D. In all the beaker we pour the 50 ml of the water. Then after in the beaker number A we have to add copper sulfate, because here is suggested to do so, that's why CuSO4 we will put into the beaker number A, and zinc granule. CuSO4 plus zinc granule will be here. Then after copper sulfate and iron will be here in the beaker number B. In the beaker number C we have to add ZnSO4 and copper. Here is ZnSO4 plus the copper, and in the D beaker iron sulfate plus copper you have to add here, and here ZnSO4 plus Fe in the beaker number E. In short, in first two beaker A and B we took the copper sulfate solution, and C and E we took the zinc sulfate solution, and in the beaker number D we took the iron sulfate solution, and in this C and D we took the copper, and first in the A beaker we took the zinc, and B and E containing the iron as a metal. And then after, what you have to do is keep the beakers undisturbed for some time. After mixing all the solution in special proportion, you have to keep it undisturbed for few minutes, not few minutes but few hours, half an hour or the 35 minutes. Then after, you have to observe your observations. You will find that the color changes. Beaker A will earlier looks like this, and then after it will change to this color. B will change to this color. There is not any more changes in the C, and D will also looks as like earlier. E will also looks as like earlier. It means there are major changes of the color in the beaker number A and B, where we took the where we took the copper sulfate and zinc in the A and copper sulfate and iron in the B. What is actually happens here is, in the first reaction, let's see here, CuSO4 is here plus zinc. What will happen here? The blue color is because of the copper sulfate solution in the beaker number A. Here you can see the blue color because of the copper sulfate solution. But reaction between these two components, what will happen? Zinc will take place of the copper. So your product will be ZnSO4. Zn will be comes here, and Cu will be removed from this component. That's why your product will be ZnSO4. Here is not anymore CuSO4 is present. That's why its color will disappear. Sky blue color will disappear, and same thing will be happen here. CuSO4 plus iron, where iron will take place of the copper. That's why your final product is FeSO4, because this iron will take place of the copper, and copper will be removed from the copper sulfate solution. So your final product is iron sulfate, and here is zinc sulfate. But here is not any reaction is occur. That's why there no color changes. It looks as like earlier only. Now see here, what changes do you observe in the various beakers? You have read that one metal displaces another metal from its compound in aqueous solution. In the beaker number A, zinc replaces copper from the copper sulfate solution. As per I told you in the beaker number A, right here, zinc will replace the copper, will remove the copper from the copper sulfate solution and take place of the copper. It means the place of the copper will be changed. That's why it is known as the displacement reaction. And why zinc is able to remove the copper, but yes, why zinc is able to remove the copper? Because zinc is more powerful than the copper. That's why. Here is also iron will replace the copper. Why? Because iron is more powerful than the copper. That's why it will remove the copper. But here is copper will not can able to remove the zinc. Why? Because zinc is the very strong compound. That's why copper is so weak to replace it by its place. Here you can see, that is why the blue color of copper sulfate disappears and powdery red mass of the copper is deposited at the bottom of the beaker. You will find that at the bottom of a beaker there is powdery red color you can observe. The reaction can be represented as follow like this. Copper sulfate plus zinc will give you zinc sulfate plus the copper. It will be blue in color, and this one is the colorless. You can write down the reaction taking place in beaker B in a similar manner. Exactly like this, you can write the beaker B's reaction also. Now here, पहले have understood the reaction taking place in beaker A and B, but I'm still confused why there is no change in the C, D and E beaker. Let's see. There could have been displacement of zinc by copper in beaker C and by iron in beaker E. Similarly, iron could be displaced by copper in beaker D. Since we don't see any changes in the beaker C, we can infer that copper is not able to replace zinc from zinc sulfate. But why? When zinc can replace copper in beaker A, why cannot copper replace zinc in a beaker C? Remember that science is not arbitrary. It follows definite rules based on the facts, and the rules here is that zinc is more reactive than the copper and iron. As per I told you, zinc is more reactive than the copper and iron. That's why it is able to replace the another component from their solution. A more reactive metal can replace a less reactive metal, but less reactive one cannot replace a more reactive metal. It is a thumb rule, be remember it. Now you can understand why there are no displacement reaction in beaker D and E also. It means it is the thumb rule, remember it. More reactive metal can replace less reactive metal, but it is not possible in the reverse. Means less reactive will not able to replace the more reactive metals. And because zinc is more reactive than the copper, that's why zinc is able to replace the copper. Can you guess the sequence of metals from more reactive to less reactive among zinc, iron and the copper? Here, with the help of this all reaction, you have to make one series in which you can suggest which one is the more reactive. Here you can see example. Zinc will replace the copper, means you can say that zinc is more reactive than the copper, and iron is also replace the copper, means iron is also more reactive than the copper. Here in this solution, iron cannot replace the zinc. It means in the cases of copper, zinc and iron, you can say that zinc is the highly reactive, then after iron will come and the copper will be lowest reactive, and in between this you have to observe the reaction or relationship. Here are some uses of metals and non-metals. You should be able to guess why metals are used in making machinery, automobiles, aeroplanes and train, satellites, industrial gadgets, cooking, utensil, water boilers, etc. You are also familiar with the uses of some non-metals. Here are some interesting ones. We are sure that you will guess them right. Means these are the all uses, and these are the uses of the metals. Non-metals is essential for our life, which all living beings inhale during breathing, means oxygen. Non-metals used in fertilizer to enhance the growth of plants. Here is talking about phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen. These all are non-metals and are essential for the life growth of the plant. Non-metal used in water purification process. Chlorine. Here is talking about the chlorine. Non-metals used in the purple colored solution which is applied on wounds as an antiseptic. Iodine. Non-metals used in the crackers. Just find it out by your own. You may add some more uses of metals and non-metals from your experience. Here our chapter is over.